Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Fit Chicks Chat. My name is Laura Jackson, and on today's podcast, we are going to be talking about my predictions, my four predictions around the future of coaching, of health coaching in a world of AI and weight loss meds. So, this is something that you know, has been a hot topic behind the scenes of the coaching industry for the last probably, I would say, like really 6 months, but it's heating up over the last couple of months. Um, and I think one of the reasons why is because these are actually two massive shifts. I mentioned this before in a previous podcast, right? There is a difference between a trend and a shift. So a trend is something where, it's this certain supplement is really hot right now, or there's a specific superfood or, a style of diet. So, we've seen that the trends over the years where, whether it be the Atkins diet or a keto diet or things like that, they're kind of if you look over history, it's very trendy. It's like wearing bell bottoms, right? There's like a specific time you're like, oh, I remember the years that was really popular. And then there is a shift. And a shift essentially is we're changing the way that we are approaching things, and we are never going to go back to the way it was. No matter what, it's going to look different. And a lot of coaches really tend to resist shifts, right? Because we want to stay where we're comfortable, we want to stay where we're familiar, where we know what to do. And I really hope in this podcast with my predictions that you are going to open up a little bit more if you are one of those coaches who has been resisting a shift. Um, you're going to be one of those coaches who maybe opens up a little bit more and sees that, you know what, this is not something that is going to get rid of me. This is not something that is going to, take away from all the things that I offer. But that being said, you do have to shift your coaching. One of the sayings that I have kind of lived by through all of the years of my business, which have now been, we've had Fit Chicks Academy for 17 years, which is crazy to think. One of the things for me that has, really kept me going, and this kind of sounds a little bit harsh, but, it really is adapt or die. And that's just like anything in life. There's a lot of times that we want things to stay the same, but the truth is things are always changing. And it doesn't mean we have to love all of them, but we do have to adapt what we are doing to be able to do what we do within this new world, this new, whether it be software, these new meds, whether it is, whatever's happening in the world. So I wanted to say that first of all. And the second thing I wanted to say around is the timing. So as I was saying, the last 6 months have been really kind of pivotal. And I feel like, 6 months ago, there were a lot of coaches who thought, you know what, I can still just do what I do and I don't have to worry about, I don't have to learn AI. I don't have to embrace it whatsoever. My clients are not affected by that. And 6 months ago, too, we had other coaches being like, no, I will never talk about GLP-1s. I will never talk about meds. And now they are in everyone's feed. They are so mainstream. And AI has taken over so many things. I just recently saw an interview that just came out about a huge company that is completely downsizing 250 employees because of AI. They've been able to replace that many jobs. So this time right now is when we can really kind of jump into it, right? And that's one of the reasons why, too, we also talk a lot about AI in our academy with our students. And we also have a whole micro certification that is all around GLP-1s and holistic lifestyle coaching alongside of them. So I want to talk in this about my predictions, though. So where are the coaches? Where are we? Where do we need to focus as health coaches? Are we going to be replaced by machines and prescriptions and all of these things? Or is this actually a huge opportunity for us who will adapt to have a bigger role in the future than ever before? And that's what I actually think is going to happen. So I think the need for coaches now is bigger than 6 months ago, is bigger than 10 years ago, is bigger than ever as the rise of AI and the rise of meds comes in. So I'm going to share this with you too. So not just where coaching is headed, but also how you can really position yourself, not just to survive, but to adapt and thrive and lead. Okay. So my first prediction is information will be free, but application will be priceless. Okay. So this is the thing, right? With AI, clients now have access to so much information in seconds, right? So they can access perfectly calculated meal plans. They can access workouts. They can access education about, whatever is specific for their needs or their goals. So say their goal is muscle building or their goal is to be able to do, run a marathon, whatever it is. They're able to get that information. So the days of clients just paying a coach for information, for someone to be able to sift through things for them, to simplify it, that's kind of really over. And I think for coaches, we've kind of gotten away with that for a lot of years because we had this expertise, right, that nobody else had. So a lot of people who are really information style coaches, they're freaking out a bit, right? And I kind of, I get that because I love information and I love the why, right? I want to know what's going on with the science. I want to know what's going on with the body. I want to know all of the things. And I want my clients to know them too, because I don't want them to think they need me just to tell them to do something, right? But we have to think of it from a different perspective, right? If information alone really worked, people wouldn't still be struggling, right? So let's just talk about AI right now. We'll talk about the meds in a moment. But if information alone really worked, why are we in an obesity epidemic? Why are people not doing what they need to do or what they know would move the needle for them, right? If they can log on to ChatGPT or Claude or any of the AI platforms that are out there and build themselves a perfect program, why are they not following it, right? So this is the thing. Clients don't know. They might know why, like what's going on, but they don't know how to stop self-sabotaging after a stressful day. They don't know how to stick to a plan when their motivation drops, right? They don't know how to break a cycle of starting strong and then quitting fast if that's what they've always done. They don't know what to do when an obstacle comes up and they have to navigate it, right? There are so many things that your clients don't know how to do. So this is really where coaches come in, right? As I said, information will be free. They can find out all of the details as to what they should eat and why they should eat it, but applying it is where they need a coach. They need someone to help them to not only, I don't like the word be accountable, but have somebody to share this experience with and for you to be able to help them navigate through the different mindset blocks, the obstacles, the behaviors, the self-sabotage, the likes and dislikes, there is no amount of AI generated plans that will help someone rewire their habits and their beliefs. And I will right now, at the time of this recording, I will stand on that. Okay. So the coaches who really start to focus on their coaching and really helping people get out of their own way and apply what they're learning and understand human behavior and all that stuff to finally take consistent action, they're the ones that are going to thrive. So, which is why too, in our certifications, I teach so much practical about how to shift habits, about the mindset and the beliefs, because it really matters. And again, no amount of information is going to give you that. Okay, so prediction number 2. Meds will change the how, but not the why. So we just talked about AI. Let's shift to meds for a second. So weight loss meds like GLP-1s and the dual agonists that we have seen, take a huge rise. I think the OZEM pick is going to is slated to be the top selling pharmaceutical of all time. Okay, of all time. And it's just going to get more available as other companies can now carry these meds. Now, for some clients, and for a lot of clients, not all, this will make it a lot easier for them to lose weight initially. And I think we have a whole microcert on this, as I was saying. And, I think there's a lot of stigma around meds. People don't understand how they work. There is also the pros and the cons, and they don't work for everybody. But the thing is, it's a tool, right? So if this is a tool that can kickstart someone's journey, then that is amazing. But there is no magic pill. And this is something, again, that I will stand on for the rest of my life, is that nothing comes for free. So even though it will move you in that direction, it does not teach you how to build a healthy relationship with food. It doesn't teach you how to manage stress without turning to food or snacks. It doesn't teach you how to understand how your hormones work, how to improve gut health, balance blood sugar. It does not teach you how to keep off the weight long term. And what is the long-term effects of being on these medications for life? There's still a lot of question marks and unknowns. So at the end of the day, the people who do have the most success are the ones who pair lifestyle change, nutrition, habits, mindset, movement, alongside of utilizing these medications. So again, this is where coaching steps in. So many people who are leaning on these medications, they don't even know where to start. And going back to point number one, they don't know how to apply these concepts. So they feel very, connected to these meds, and they feel like that is the only thing that will help them, but at what cost? So this is why when you pair this with the lifestyle changes and we maintain muscle mass and we work on building a better relationship with food and take advantage of that window of opportunity, as we call it at Fit Chicks Academy, this is where there is that bridge between a tool and true transformation. So I see medications as starting the process, and coaching is what sustains it. Coaching is what changes your life and helps someone change who they are. And that tool is helping them to get to there. So meds will change the how, but it will not change the why. Okay, that's my prediction number 2. Prediction number 3 is that coaching will evolve from instructor to identity shaper. So this is something that all of my students know I talk a lot about is identity. I talk about it a lot with my students, and I talk about it a lot in my personal life, because your identity drives everything in your life. What you have in your life right now is a result of what you believe about yourself, right? Your identity dictates what you believe is possible for you, how you spend your day, what you go after with your goals, all of that stuff. So if we don't work on shifting identity, it is really hard for someone to make a long-term change. And again, coaching, I think one of the reasons why coaching, especially health coaching, has gotten such kind of this fluffy, if you ever look at a lot of movies, they'll have like the personal trainer is like a big dumb jock, or just, a blonde girl. And I'm not, I love me my blondes, but it's just a very stereotypical sports bra, six-pack, ditzy kind of girl, right? Who's a personal trainer or a nutrition coach or a health coach. And it's so ridiculous to me, because these are actually people who can transform the health of this world and are so important. But again, when we see someone as just, a coach is someone who gives you tips, who, interprets your fitness test or your nutrition test. It's just very surface level, right? That is part of what you do, but you also help someone become a different version of themselves. And again, that's the only way we have long-term change. We have to help our clients become the version who makes aligned choices, who takes consistent action. Because the only way to get results is from taking action. The only way to take action is to become the version of yourself who takes action, and then it becomes natural when you do it enough times. And when you embody those new habits, that is when you shifted your being. So in coaching, it's not about what they eat, it's about who they believe they are, right? And your current habits, your client's current habits are just a result of their current knowing, their current belief. They might not be aware that there's another way to be. They might not, it feels so out of place to suddenly change their nutrition because they are acting like a different version of themselves, which they are becoming one, right? But there's always that uncomfortable period. It's totally normal. But coaches who evolve from just instructing to helping other people shape their identities and including that in their coaching, I think it's just, that's the secret sauce to an amazing, amazing coach. AI can't do that. AI can give you scripts, but AI can't help you embody right as of right now. Medications can't do that. They don't work on your identity. They change your physical body, but they do not change your mindset and your beliefs and your brain, right? So a skilled coach who understands how to do that can help with like the psychology of change, can really hold space for that and make that possible. Okay. And then my prediction number 4 is, and I'm saying this not just because I run health certifications, but certifications and standards will matter more than ever. There is so much noise in the market, and there's so many people who are claiming to be experts and know what they're talking about, and then they're hawking some supplements that are the hot thing of the moment, which are just so detrimental to mindset and self-love and usually health as well. But they're just because they work out, now suddenly they are a coach. So I think people are going to be moving towards looking, okay, is this someone who just generates stuff from AI? And I have no problems with using AI. I think literally it's like my assistant. I use it to fast track stuff. I've trained it too, though, to think like me, right? So I use AI quite a bit, but at the same time, I have the qualifications and the experience behind it that I know if it is telling me something wrong, right? So I think a lot of people are now saying, okay, is this AI generated or are you legit? Have you gone through a certification? Do you have actual clients that have gotten results? Are you somebody who specializes in a specific area? Do you understand hormones? Do you understand mindset? Do you understand nutrition? Like all of these things instead of just regurgitating information. I also feel like, especially in the weight loss market, because again, we're talking about two things at once here, right? AI and meds. And a lot of people are going to AI for weight loss, but again, they're not changing who they are, or they're going on the meds and they're getting results, but then they're gaining the weight back, or they don't know how to fully change their lives and they really need that coinciding. People who have the knowledge and the skills and the coaching ability are the ones who are really going to stand out. So I think the certifications and the standards, that's what people are looking for. We went through a period in kind of like 2020 post COVID where every person was calling themselves a coach, right? And I think the true future of coaching belongs to coaches who are trained, who are confident, who abide by certain standards, who can prove they've gone through a qualified program. Um, yeah, I think that's the way it's going to go. So, big picture, AI isn't the enemy. Medications aren't the enemy. They're just tools. All of these things are tools, but tools without a guide do not create transformation, right? So, I think the true future, like I was saying, of coaching is, if you are somebody who can help someone shift their habits, shift their mindset, and ultimately shift their identity, then you are going to change what they do, right? And who they are. And that is the equation for long-term results. That's the equation for transformation. So I hope this was helpful, especially for my coaches who have been feeling really resistant about the changes that have been happening or feeling like, am I going to become obsolete? No, you are not. You are needed more than ever, but you do have to adapt and you have to think about your coaching differently than maybe you did 6 months ago. And that's a beautiful thing because we always should be evolving in our craft. I've been in this industry now for 25 years, which is crazy. And I am still an eternal student just as much as I am a teacher. And I'm open to learning and growing into it all. And I want you to be too. So if you're interested in learning more about our upcoming certifications too, we do have our Holistic Nutrition Weight Loss Coach certification that is starting on October 27th. The VIP pre-enrollment list is open right now. You can go to fitchicksacademy.com/HWLC. It will be linked below this video as well, where you can jump on the list and learn more about that. Okay, have an amazing week, everybody, and I will see you next week on the podcast. Bye.